So did you start wearing American hats when the Maddox family bought American Hat Company?
When
did you transfer?
I had a 40X American hat several years before I started working here, so I wasn't wearing American yet. And then I always wore their straw hats. Maybe not so much in my middle years. When I was a younger kid, I always wore American hat, wore Bangor all the time when I was little. And then when I moved down here to Texas, I'd get an American hat all the time. So American straw hat for sure.
Okay. What was it about American? Just the quality,
Yeah, the overall quality is just hard to beat. It's a very good straw hat. Before I worked here, I'd buy one straw hat a year, and it was the best hat to get to last you through that whole season, because I wore it all the time and really, wore it and wear and tear it, so it needs to withstand at least a season, so you can get some wear out of that hat, because they're not cheap.
No, they're not.
And so you got to wear one every day, or enjoy wearing one every day. You want to be wearing a good one.
How about the American flag on the back? When did that come into play? Has that always been there? Or
let's see. I don't know the exact years we started doing that.
Is that a Maddox family?
Maddox put that on there. Mr. Maddox did. It came on the American hats first, on the felt hats first, and then just in the last 4 years, I think we started putting it on all the straw hats.
Yeah, my first straw hat didn't have one on it. So
right.
But I called them and said, hey, I'd like to have
a
flag put back this, and they sent me one.
They all do now, but it's maybe about 4 years that we've put them on every single straw hat now. Yeah. When I first started working here, the American pin wasn't on every felt hat yet, but it's been a good 8-9 years now that it started being a thing to have that pin on every single hat. So
sure.
Felt or straw. Right,
I think that sets American apart from a lot of hat makers.
Right. Yep. A lot of people love that there. That's kind of they're patriotic. So the neat thing to have on your American hat is that American flag in there.
Probably my favorite part.
Yes.
Man, that's a good looking hat.
It's a very, very nice hat. So what we call these little rolls that you requested are called Howdy Ma'ams.
Howdy Ma'am.
So when you take your hat off and say Howdy Ma'am, it automatically puts that roll in there. Just kind of got me.
I have a silver belly that I really love, and it didn't start out that way. I didn't think I would like a silver belly, and so I just bought a cheap 6X Cavender's silver belly, and I wound up just loving that hat. Love the color. I didn't think I was gonna like it.
Yeah.
But so after that, I decided, well, I need a good silver belly.
Yeah. This is top dog here. This is a very, very nice hat. All right, we're pretty close there. I always like to clean mine off before I hand them to the customers, make sure they get a good looking hat in their first time with it shaped. We can also touch it up with whatever we need to adjust. But everybody here is pretty close, one of the first times they hand it to the customers, so.
What do you got? This one? Yes, sir.
Well, I think you pretty much nailed it right off the bat, just from my explanation.
We come every year. Yeah. You want to do the PBR at all? You want to do the PBR?
We'll patch it up here. American hat. We always put the American hat patch right above the American hat pin. And then we always put this positive times patch on the right side of it there. Just stick them on there. They just stick on, and if you don't want it on there, it comes off clean. Whatever you like. We like to leave ours on there. You can see mine's
Patched up too. And you got a pretty big American flag there too.
That is an older patch that American used to make that they don't make anymore. So those are kind of a hard patch to find, but that's kind of my hat. I put that on all my hats.
You got a few of them laying around.
Yeah, I've got a few over the years collected. Nowadays, my hats don't get so much wear and tear as they used to, so mine stay pretty nice for a lot longer time, so they last longer.
So I noticed you're wearing felt in here today. Do you usually wear felt all year round?
Yeah, I do. We're in here in the AC, so it's not too big a deal to be wearing a felt hat, and it just looks nicer. Everybody in here is going to be wearing a felt hat that's shaving hats. So
Sure.
Here, we'll try your new hat out and see what you think.
Let's take a look at this. Should have got a lot bigger.
Yeah, we can tighten that up just a little. I'm just going to tweak it just a smidge right here real quick. That looks really good, I think. Let me just tighten it up for you.
Yep.
And then I'll let you see it in the mirror and see what you think. We just use this masking tape, this wide 2-inch masking tape. Put it in here in this behind the sweatband.
Okay.
About halfway on that sweatband, and then halfway down inside the hat. So when it folds down in, it doubles over. And you can do a piece in the front, you can do a piece in the back and front if you need it, or we're going to try it for just the back here first.
All right. Wow, that
Makes a
really,
difference.
That's amazing. I use foam
Yeah.
on mine, and this is.
So we don't use the foam because when you wear the hat and that foam's in there, it can push the crown out, and you can have a welt kind of like or whatever. And it,
I can't believe how much difference, because it was quite big.
yeah. And they tend to, kind of come to your head. So the more you wear it, the more you kind of, sweat in a little bit. It breaks in and conforms to your head. So
Well, how's it look? What do you think?
that looks sharp. I love it. It's very nice. Is it what you want?
I think so. Yeah, it's a good looking hat.
Let me see the front of it. Like that right there. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, it's a good hat. Oh yeah, I love that thing.
You love it. I love it.
Well, I know I've taken up a lot of your time today, but would you mind doing a straw for me too?
Yeah, you got it.
All right.
You got one right back there.
How much we know? Like you're down. You got a lot of weight on you.
We're gonna do the same shape on it, pretty much.
Well,
or what are we thinking?
I like a sharper catalog on my straw, so
beer
kind
right
of
away.
more tight crease, and then it's kind of a traditional crown.
Okay.
You got ice. I got cup.
Put that on there for me.
Sure. I don't want to set this down.
Yeah, right.
I plan on being here when you open. All
Right.
9.5-hour drive. So yeah.
And on the brim, what are you thinking? You like
So I kind
kinda
of like
already-
the pre-crease.
Okay.
I actually started.
that width there? Is pretty
Yeah,
good for you?
I think
Yep.
that's pretty good.
We'll just bring it in here and kind of bring it down.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
A lot of straw hats, they will only take one shot, right? You can shape them once, and
Well,
that's about it.
for the most part, yes. I have changed crowns and things in straw hats before. In an American hat, you can definitely you can give it a shot sometimes if somebody wants it. But what it does tend to do is leave some of the past lines from the previous crease. So that's the reason why you can't quite change them all the time.
Now I've had some people come in and want some dents taken out and some really old hats, and they seem kind of flimsy and
Yeah.
much more flexible. Is there anything you can do to Or is,
No,
or is it done once
it's
that's
pretty much done. That's it's
time for a new hat?
time for a new hat. Straw hats weren't made to last forever, so you kind of wear them and get your good wear and tear out of them for a year or two, and then you just need to replace it. The straw hats, it's called straw, but it's basically a paper hat with a lacquer on it.
Yeah. It's in y'all's property. Yeah, that should be okay.
Which one? Which side?
In the alley. In the alley.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Where's your
On a straw hat, it get kind of wet, so we use a cloth to kind of wipe that off.
dry it off?
Yeah.
Does it make it tougher to work it when it's wet like that?
No, it actually is smooth. So while it's damp, you can kind of use your fingers to kind of smooth through it, smooth it out.
Where's a little bit wider for the square? Yeah, just same thing. Okay.
Straw hat, they have that wire sewn in and around the edge there on all the straw hats. So that wire is kind of what you're manipulating when you shape the straw hat to brim. Smooth that wire out and it'll be good all the way around.
Okay.
That's way, if your hat gets dinged or something from whatever you're doing, you can kind of straighten that wire out a little bit and kind of give it a little bit more life again.
Just a little bit longer. Huh?
Just to get a little bit more out of it, yes.
That thing looks great already. I've got a few American straws, and I knew this one needed to come someplace special to be shaped up right.
Yeah. So we'll just use the pencil mark there to get centered up on you. Just erase that pencil mark there. And we'll patch you up.
That's a pretty smart trick too. Pencil.
Yes. We won't use a pencil on the felt hands. Anyway, you can get a mark on there though, so you can know where you're headed, what direction you're headed.
Yeah, a lot of people,
Hey, Mark.
their head's not,
If you want to take those hats, the ones that
their
are
ears
shaped,
aren't always
can you put those in the
lined
box?
up with their nose. And
Yeah.
you might look at somebody's crown and it might look like it's off, and they put it on their head and it's straight.
Exactly right.
Oh man, that looks good.
Yeah. Give me one time there. Good. Just a little.
We're a little loose on that one too.
A little loose, you bet. Same thing.
All right.
Just tighten it up a little bit.
Hang out around the junkyards for the afternoon or head on back? No, heading back. I'm just going to put the hats. Yeah, that's it. 3 hours, 4 hours? 4 hours. Yeah, they are. They start selling American hat.
Well,
that it?
I'm gonna steal that trick because that's
Yeah.
good hats are awesome.
Just tweak that a little bit right there.
That little bit of piece of tape, I can't believe it made that much difference when
Yeah,
you use a
it does.
large piece of foam, and it's 10 times the thickness.
Yeah.
That's appreciate you taking the time
Yes, sir.
to talk to us. And,
You got it.
Thanks
Thank you.
for shaping up my hats today.
You're welcome.
What are you looking for?
Welcome. Enjoy.
Thank you. Anything you want to say before we end?
We're open Monday through Friday or Saturday, 10 to 6. Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Closed on Sundays.
On Sundays. Oh, so that's, I think, I don't remember. I thought Google said you were open. Did you used to be open on Sundays?
No, never
Okay.
have. No.
All right, well, that's
10
good
to
to know.
6.
Well, I appreciate it, and thanks for taking the
You're
time.
welcome. Thank you. Enjoy.